Hi everybody, it's Joni Young here. Welcome back to my channel for another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you 3 amazing ways to blend acrylic. So I'm going to be doing this one technique at a time on a different canvas using some different colors. You're going to learn a ton in this video today and I can't wait to show you how this is going to make you get better at painting really quickly. This is a really important video because without learning how to properly blend with acrylics, you may throw in the towel and quit painting altogether. So please watch this video all the way through so you pick up every little tip and technique and trick that I've got for you. So stay tuned, hit subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started. So the very first technique I'm going to show you with blending acrylics is how to gradiate to blend. So we're going to go and blend in white into phthalo green. You can do this with any colors that you like though. I'm going to be using a larger brush, but you can do this with any brush that you like. And I'm going to start this with my large Filbert brush. And I'm going to take just a little bit of water on my brush. You can also use a fine misting bottle and just lightly mist the canvas. This really helps with blending. You can go ahead and start with your first color. Let's go in with phthalo green. Now what I like to do and show my students, beginner students, all ages, take your main color and just create a little frame around all the sides of the canvas. We're going to round these corners just for the sake of this lesson today. I like doing this for some of my landscapes or fantasy paintings. It creates some ambiance and a nice focal point in the center. So see how easy this is already to just blend this acrylic around with a little bit of water on the canvas and a little bit in my brush. If I had too much water, I wouldn't be able to pull this paint around like I am. It would be really streaky and out of control. Okay, so once we have it like this, you don't need to wash your brush out. You don't need any more water. I'm going to take a little bit of white, and what I want to do is apply my brush and that paint partially over where we left off with the green and partially on the blank white canvas or whatever color canvas you're using. We're going to just go lightly over, blending so easily because we're adding this to wet paint. You can really only blend 2 colors together when they're wet. It's going to be really hard to blend into another color if it's already dry because you can't do anything with it once it's dry. It can't move around. Okay, so see how it gradiates already. There's no harsh streaks. It's just lightly gradiating to the lightest in here towards the center, darkest on the outside. The next thing I want to do is go back for some more white. Again, I'm not washing my brush out. We're going to start where we left off and just continuously going around and around. And look at that beautiful blended soft look that we get. Now, more white. Again, I'm lining it up partially where we left off and partially on the blank unpainted canvas. Again, we're going to go around and around and around. So we get it nice and bright in the center with a little bit more white. Okay, so there is the very basic, simple first step on how to paint and blend with acrylics. This is a really wonderful background that you can make and create with any colors that you like for your fantasy landscapes, any landscapes, or still life. Have fun with creating your own using this type of background. Let's move on to step 2, and that is using a dry mop brush over wet paint with a little bit of fine misting with our spray bottle of water. So I happen to be using a light pink magenta and a blue turquoise with some white for this step, but you can use any colors that you want and achieve the same outcome with the same technique I'm about to show you now. Now the very first step is misting the canvas with a little bit of water. So I'm just going to stand back about a foot and just lightly mist. I'm going to take a large flat brush and I'm just going to go around the canvas and evenly blend out that water so that the canvas is nice and damp but not too wet. If your canvas is too wet, this is not going to work. If it's too dry, it also won't work. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take our brush. I'm going to take a little bit of pink and I'm just going to crisscross to apply it. I love creating these types of backgrounds because what you're going to get is a really blurry, out of focus background, and then you can come in with a flower or a fence or whatever it is that you want to be the focal point, and you can make your paintings look so amazing. People are going to wonder how you did that, and I'm showing you today. I'm giving you this little tip that's going to take you so far with your painting skills and make your paintings look more realistic and have so much more depth. Now I'm going to take a little bit of blue and I'm just going to go around, add a little bit of this here and there. You don't want to use too much paint. If your brush is like really thick and globby with paint, this step will not work. I'm going to take just a touch of white and I'm going to add a little bit of this around as well so we get some lighter shades. And a little bit up here as well. So make sure there's no thick globs of paint anywhere. And then the next thing you're going to need is a mop brush. So the number one thing, you need to make sure that you're using a dry mop brush and that the paint is wet, and then you're just going to go over in little circles, and it's like you're just airbrushing out any of those streaky marks on the canvas with that paint. I mean, just look at the difference, right? From this side to this side, just blurring and blending it all out. I love this effect. It's so just satisfying, and it's a little tip with huge results. One of those little big tips or big little tips that I love to incorporate into my lessons, because I get that wow from you guys and my students when they're learning this and they didn't realize how easy it actually is. Now imagine adding a little flower right here and a little butterfly, and it just would look like a blurry, beautiful background. Maybe a little butterfly even right here, and these colors in particular could look like magnified, like hydrangea, just out of focus in the background, and we've got this beautiful little butterfly. And if you want to learn how to paint a butterfly, I have a whole playlist of animals, birds, fish, butterflies. So have a look through my playlists. I have a whole list of playlists, everything categorized for you at the top of my channel. Okay, so that was number 2, blending with a dry mop brush. Let's move on to the third and final way to blend with acrylics, and that is a side to side, pulling in different colors and making them blend together nicely. Say if you were painting a lake or a river or grass or whatever it might be, this is going to be really amazing for you guys to learn. So let's jump in and get started with that one. Okay, so for our third and final step demonstration, I'm going to be using my large flat brush again. You can use any brush that you want for this. And I'm going to be using some aqua green turquoise and some blue, phthalo blue, and some white. I'm going to start with a little bit of the blue. I have a little bit of water on my brush just to dampen it. And I'm just going to take a little bit of blue here, and I'm going to start right here, just nicely back and forth. Take a little bit more. The next color, I'm going to take a little bit of turquoise. Now, look how little of paint that I have on my brush. I may not even need that much, but most of you guys, most of us learning how to paint tend to use and think we need to use more paint than we really do. So there's another great tip within this tutorial in this video. So use less paint than you think you need to, and you'll have better results. Okay, so I'm going to start adding this where I left off and pull it into that blue and across part of the white. So you can see how we've blended that in. It kind of fades away. It gradiates a little bit, but you could do this with two dark colors as well. It doesn't necessarily need to go from dark to light, but I thought I would just paint like a tropical water scene here, or how I would paint some tropical water deeper here, going out towards the deeper part of the ocean and then bringing it inland here towards the beach. So it does gradiate for this specific lesson, but you can do this and blend your acrylics the same way with any colors that you like. I'm going to take more of that turquoise and I'm just going to keep going over lightly back and forth. You don't need to press hard. Then I'm going to take some white. Here's how much white I have. And I'm going to start applying it where I left off and partially over the turquoise. So we get a nice blending here. And then you can just give a little soft sweep like that. Add a little bit more white for the water here where it's going to get a little shallower. This could be a sky as well. You could use this same technique for a sky. Maybe it's darker on the bottom or darker on the top. Okay, we can demonstrate. How about I demonstrate that up here? I'll go back into my blue and we'll start with a sky. Back and forth, side to side. We'll just take all of that blue and apply it at the very top. And then we can come in with some turquoise. Just a little bit there. Blend it into the blue. Then let's take some white. Blend it in softly to that turquoisey color. Let's take some more. Haven't rinsed my brush out. That's important too, because you still have a little bit of the blues and the greens in there. And we're going to just bring it right down to that horizon line. Okay, so to blend out a sky, dark to light. To blend out an ocean or a river, dark to light, where it gets shallower. You want the shallow end to be the lightest and the deepest end to be the darkest. If you wanted to add some clouds, you can take, and I'll show you how to, there's so many different types of clouds and ways to paint them. And I do have a lot here on my channel, but however, if you want to create that sweepy sort of blended, dreamy cloud look, just take a little bit of white paint and apply it over wet paint already. And just kind of dab like this. Let your hand be a little shaky. And then you're going to take a little mop brush, one that's dry, and we're just going to sweep very lightly like this. And you get that really soft, dreamy look. Let's try that again. Take a little bit more white. Tap, dab, a little shakiness. Let's go back over to our dry mop brush. And in an upward motion, barely touching the canvas. And that paint just really lightly pull and sweep up. Let's do that one more time. A little bit more white. I'm going to use just a little extra where it's the lightest part of our sky here. Tap and dab. Dry mop brush. And you can just blend softly, wet into wet, like this, with a little pressure. We can add a little bit more white down here. See how soft that blends in? It's like using your acrylics, making them act like oils. So these are just little tips and tricks for you. And I hope that you guys found this really informative and useful and helpful today. If so, leave a comment below this video letting me know. And if you have any requests for future videos and tutorials, let me know there as well. There's so much more to see on my Patreon, exclusive tutorials of landscape, still life, animals, so much there, too much to list, but I'll have a link below for that as well, and my watercolor channel. So check that out. I love to teach and inspire. Art is very healing and brings me joy. I want to share that with you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys all soon in my next video. Bye!